Okay, let's call this meeting in the Haysville Planning Commission to order. First item of business is a roll call.
Meyer. Hatcher.
Here.
Williams.
Here.
Coleman.
Here.
Vizier.
Here.
Wellington. Franken.
Here.
Plummer. Here.
Next item is the presentation and approval of the minutes of May 27th, 2021.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes as presented.
I'll second.
I have a motion and second to approve as presented. All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Any abstentions? One. You were not here for that meeting, right?
Right.
So you must abstain because you can't verify that this is
Okay.
what was said at the meeting.
Okay.
So, just a formality.
Yeah,
but-
that's fine with me. Just listen.
Special order of business, election of officers. Are there any nominations for chairperson?
I'd nominate Tim Azier for chairperson.
I'll second that.
I have a second and a motion and second for me. Are there any other nominations? All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Only myself. Any nominations for vice chair? I nominate Deb.
I second.
Motion and second. Any other nominations for vice chair? All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed, except Deb. For secretary, I nominate Jonathan. It's already on the plat, so
I'll second that.
I have a motion and second for Jonathan Tardif as secretary. All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed, other than John. Under new business, we have plat of Vaden's Little Acres addition to Sedgwick County.
Good evening. Before you is the plat for Baden's Little Acres. The property is located on South Seneca, zoned residential outside of the city limits, but within our area of influence. It is approximately 3.199 acres. The owners wish to build a home on this property. The Haysville subdivision regulations require to be platted as it is less than 20 acres. PEC submitted comments to the plat, on the plat, and they have been incorporated on the plat before you. Sedgwick County's Public Works submitted comments on the plat, but we received them after the cutoff date. They are listed in your staff report. Staff recommends the approval, the preliminary and final plats with the recommended changes based on the conformance to the Haysville subdivision regulations. I can answer any of your questions if need be.
I don't see any limitation to access control along Seneca. Is that limited anywhere?
I believe that was one of the comments made by Sedgwick County that hasn't been incorporated yet.
I mean, there is an ingress egress easement on the face of this preliminary plat, but
That is something that Sedgwick County was recommending with access control.
is that also in staff's recommended comments?
Yes.
Yes. Next time I'll take the time to read those. Anybody else have any concerns or questions about what staff is recommending? So do you know if they plan on connecting to city services?
We had not heard that they were yet, but we did mention that if they were going to, they'd have to have an annexation. I do know they were asking about the fact that there were wells in the area, if that would put a issue on it or not.
Okay. So a motion would need to recommend approval of both the final and preliminary plat.
Yes.
With recommended changes,
Sorry?
with the recommended changes from.
Yeah.
I'll make a motion to approve the preliminary and final plat of Baden's Little Acres with the recommended changes based on conformance to the Haysville subdivision regulations as presented.
I'll second.
We have a motion and second. All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Next item of business under new business is Shook addition to Haysville.
The Shook Addition is located on South Broadway. It's zoned heavy commercial and is in the Haysville city limits. It is 2.291 acres. The owner wishes to build a home on the west end of the property and keep the east side commercial. The Haysville subdivision regulations require that be platted as it's less than the 20 acres. PEC submitted comments on the plats, which are incorporated in the plats before you. Sedgwick County Public Works submitted comments, which are on your sheet, and they have yet to be incorporated into the plats. Staff is recommending approval of the preliminary and final plat with the recommended changes based on conformance to the Haysville subdivision regulations. This application is, I'm here for you. Any questions?
So if I'm looking at this correctly, the property immediately to the north and immediately to the south have already been split in the same fashion?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Will this have to be rezoned?
Yes.
They recently acquired the property due to a death in the family, is what my understanding was when they talked to me a couple months ago.
So it's gonna come back to us again.
If that's what their plan is, yes.
Okay.
So,
So it gets replatted, we rezone presumably the west half of it as residential, and the east half would remain commercial?
yes.
I was not clear reading this about the access to Broadway.
I'm gonna say, just from driving by, it's just like right next to it. I would believe they would have to get more permits for driveway and everything.
Okay. So their access would be from A Street.
Yes.
Correct.
Again, it would be the preliminary and the final plat that we would recommend for approval.
Correct.
Yeah.
I'd make a motion to approve the preliminary and final plat of Shook Addition, which, with the recommended changes based on conformance to the Haysville subdivision regulations as presented.
Is there a second?
Second.
No, thank you. I have a motion and second to recommend approval of both. All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Under old business, I have a statement. We are looking for representation on the planning commission for area of influence. So if you live outside of the city limits, but within, let's call it a 3-mile radius to be conservative, the limits can be found on the website.
They were there, but I just checked that link. We'll have to fix it.
If not, get a hold of city staff, and if you would like to join us here for these fun-filled meetings, we would love to have you. Is that the only position that we're actively seeking at this point, is area of influence? Okay.
Yes.
Tell your friends, tell your neighbors. Any correspondence and informational reading? No. Sounds like historic is the only committee at this point.
It is.
So any updates?
No.
Thank you for that.
Yes.
No off-agenda items?
No.
Item 10.
I'd make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
I'll second that.
Motion second to adjourn, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, everybody.